From Central Indiana's #1 news source, this is Fox 59 Tonight.
Good evening. We are back with another edition of Fox 59 Tonight. I'm Cameron Riddle. Thanks for downloading our new Smart TV app on your Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and Samsung TV now. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss any of the conversations that we have every night at 8 o'clock. We talk about everything from the White House to your house. And on this show, we will do just that with the host who normally does it from the left on her own podcast, which you can find on YouTube, Indiana's very own Dana Black. And Dana, I did not change the name under your box. I'm going to do that in a second. Since you know all about podcasting and hosting with this, you know what mistake I just made. So we'll fix that here in a second. But it is good to have you, good to talk to you. How are you?
I am wonderful, and thank you for inviting me to come and chit-chat with you. Now, I've got to clarify something. Channel 4 is Indiana's very own.
True.
I am Indiana's own Dana Black. So
True.
we're going to make sure that we keep everybody's,
you don't want to let
I don't want to litigate. I don't want to litigate. But I do have the .com. I have the Indiana's own.com. So that makes me really official.
Okay. That you are, like I said, let's pull up some of your show. Turn Left,
correct,
is your show that is on YouTube. You are a person who has done many things in politics in Indiana. I think you and I met a couple of election cycles ago in an early voting line. I think
so.
Yes. So, and you were wearing a different hat then.
Yep.
So for people who don't know, who's this Dana Black? Who are you? Where you been?
Wow. Okay. Well, let's just get quick and dirty with it. I'm a North Central grad. Okay. We just want to put all of that to rest. North Central Panther. But I became engaged in Indiana politics when in 2014 they were passing the RFRA legislation that was basically saying they can treat LGBTQ plus folk differently in public accommodations. And I felt like we'd already had that conversation. And the person that was pushing that bill was my representative at the time. It was Brian Bosma. So when I went to go cast a rebellious vote against him, there was no Democrat on the ballot. So in 2016, I ran for office. Obviously, I did not win that race. But someone should have told me, brother, that when you run for office, you become addicted to the policies that are impacting people, and you want to be engaged on how you can change some of those policies. You know,
remind me, what seat was that you ran for?
District 88.
District 88.
Yeah, he was the sitting Speaker of the House. He had been in office for 30 years, and he was the architect for getting that RFRA to Mike Pence's desk to sign that basically said people can treat LGBTQ plus folks poorly in public accommodations. And so I ran for office. I lost. I then became the deputy chair of engagement for the state party for 4 years because I recognized there was still work that needed to be done. Since then, I created the podcast. I write for the Indianapolis Business Journal. I'm on one of the competitors, Wish TV, once a month. But basically, I am just a loudmouth woman who believes that politics and democracy belongs to all of us and that no one should be silenced. And I'm here to help people find their power and know that everything that they bring to the table, no matter what it is, it can have an impact in our civic engagement. So that's what I do.
Well, the reason I'm excited to talk to you is one, because of what I have up on the screen. You're hosting your own show, Turn Left. There you're talking with Congressman Carson. And I just don't feel that we hear or know who our Democrat leaders in the state, who those voices are. People will say Indiana's a deep red state, Indiana's ruby red, and but then you'll hear when we're having conversations about things like redistricting, then they say, well, actually, it's not as red as you think, so we got to redistrict. If that's the case, obviously, we're not as red as people think we are. And I've even learned that, like District 5, which is Hamilton County, Madison County, Delaware County, is not the deep red thing that people think it is. And so with that said, that means there's a fighting chance if you're a Democrat. But why does it feel like the Democrats are just going,
Well, there's a lot of voter apathy that's in our streets right now. And it's understandable because, people feel like I showed up, I voted, and things are not changing. Well, we also have to remember it takes time for things to change, and you have to keep showing up. It is not a sprint, it is a marathon. No, we are not as red as people think we are. Gerrymandering has played a role in the lopsidedness in our state house. But another part of that is, think about it. The governor, the attorney general, the secretary of state, and the 2 Senate seats, the U.S. Senate seats, are not gerrymandered seats. So if we show up and turn out like we're supposed to, we can have impact on statewide races, right? That's why they do everything they can to make it difficult for people to get to the ballot box. So, for example, in Marion County, when we have early voting, we have, for the first couple of weeks, we have one early voting location in Marion County, and it's at the city county building where you have to pay to park. Unlike Hamilton County, that have at least 6 that are open early.
And I believe they're actually changing theirs to voting centers.
Yeah, they're going to vote centers. Now, listen, when you have 600,000 registered voters compared to 250, 300,000 registered voters, and they have multiple voting locations, and Marion County only has one, that is voter suppression. Whether you think, well, you can still go, but what if I can't pay to park? Now I got to pay to go vote. So some of the tactics, right, are hidden and are subversive. But the thing is, we have to be committed to helping our neighbors, right, understand the impact and the power of their voice. So if you are someone who has the ability to get to the polling place, or that you have a vehicle and you can drive people around to get them to their polling place, step up. Step up. It doesn't matter what you can do. You can bring something positive to this movement. I mean, they even passed legislation, introduced legislation that says that the Indigo couldn't offer free rides on election day. That's just mean. I mean, don't tell me you care about people and you don't even want to help them get to the polling place. They don't want you to show up. They don't want you to vote. They don't want you to be in power, right? And that's why they are writing redistricting, because, 7-2 is not enough.
Correct.
We don't want any Democrats to have any representation from Indiana and Washington. So much for wanting to hear everybody's voice. They don't want that. They want you to fall in line. They want you to do exactly what they want, the way they want you to do it. They want you to love the way they want you to love. They want you to pray the way. You are not allowed to be an individual in Indiana's GOP. You're not. So that's why it's important. If you believe in democracy and you believe in living your free self, you got to get engaged and you got to get involved, because it takes more than one person.
I have, with that in mind, the links that politicians have gone through or attempted to go to keep people from voting are all signs of there is a fighting chance. Like, if you go show up and vote, we might not be in office.
Absolutely.
And so one of the tactics is to just not make you not want to vote, make it either difficult for you to vote, like actually difficult to go vote, or beat you down so bad that you think that your vote is not going to count even if you do show up.
Absolutely. I mean, and think about this. The Mississippi Attorney General filed an appeal with the Supreme Court to have Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act wiped out. So what is Section 2? Section 2 is the place where it says if you have been denied access to the ballot box, you can seek recourse through the courts. So if you get rid of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, that basically says I can deny you access to the ballot box, and you cannot seek recourse. You cannot seek damages for that. This is, and if this goes to now mind you, I know I just said Mississippi, but if this goes to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court agrees to this, it'll impact everybody in all 50 states. They want to be able to deny you access to the ballot box. They do not want you to be full participants in this democracy, this thing that we call America. Why? Because if they could just run on their policies, if they had good policies to run on, then maybe they could win races without actually having to deny people access to the ballot box. So let's look at that big ugly bill. They call it something else.
Big,
I
beautiful
call
bill.
it the big ugly bill. The big ugly bill literally is taking money from the most vulnerable humans in our society and giving money in the form of tax breaks to the wealthiest people in our society. They made it so those provisions don't go into effect until after the midterm elections in 2026. So hopefully you won't feel it until after the elections, after they've gerrymandered states even more, right? So all the pain that we're going to feel, let's just push this down the road until after the 26th election. So why do I have Turn Left? So I can talk about these issues and make sure people understand that big ugly bill is harmful to every human, even young people. They changed the rules on how you get Pell Grants to go to college. Come on. Come on. Why do you not want people to get educated? Why do you not want those that are struggling financially to get an education? Because if I can keep my boot on your neck, I can manipulate you. If I keep you from understanding how things work, I can keep manipulating you. And that's what they've done. If you look at I think about the charter school movement, right? And all these different systems of education. Well, they take a whole bunch of money from the general pot that goes to everybody, right? And they say, hey, choose where you want to send your kid to school. Here's some money. Go choose where you want to go. Well, let me ask you something. Are those for-profit schools or charter schools popping up in rural Indiana? No. Why? Because there's no people there. Nobody is going to go try to make money where they can't make money, where there are no people. So now rural Indiana has to do more with less because all that money came out of the same pot. So now rural kids, mostly white kids, are being denied a fully funded education, which means they're going to be missing stuff. And then when they can't compete in the world because they didn't get the same education, they're going to look at somebody like me and you who live in Marion County, and there's choices everywhere. I can go to Catholic school, I can go to a charter school, I can go to public school, I can go to any kind of school I want to in Marion County where there's almost 1 million people and they're setting up shop. But the kid in rural Indiana is not going to get the same opportunity, and they become resentful. They become angry, and they start to feel like, right, there was something that they were denied, and you and I are getting something that they were supposed to get. So now you create generations of resentful people that are not educated, and now here come the populace. Hey, I know what you're feeling. Follow me. I'm going to gut your education more. I'm going to gut your health care more. But follow me because I feel your pain. This is what's happened. And it's taken generations. It didn't happen overnight, right? It's been taking generations to really beat people down, literally starting with, I'm not even going to educate your kids, or I'm going to start to defund public education in rural Indiana. That's literally where it started.
Where is the person in Indiana who is talking the talk that you're talking now? Who is that politician?
They're out there. I mean, when you're a politician, you can't really say it the same way I can say it, right? So, I think Andrea Hunley is a fantastic senator from Marion County. Shelley Yoder from Bloomington is. I mean, these are fantastic senators. Senator J.D. Ford, our only LGBTQ plus elected official in the State House, is having those conversations. They just do it differently. They're more civilized than me. I get to say it like I want to say it. I get to be 10 toes down in mine. But they have to also make sure that they're speaking in a way that is reflective of the office that they hold. Honestly, I don't like to hear my politicians sound like they came from, 6'3" Mafia. I need them to sound like they have an education and have a good handle and a good grasp on what's going on. In the House side, I think Senator Fatty Kador in the Senate, he's another great one. But if you look at, Senator Jackson, Representative Jackson from Lake County, I think Eddie Melton up in Gary, mayor of Gary, is doing a great job. There are plenty of voices, right? But here's the deal. Media doesn't want you to hear them, right? They're not going to show up at the top of your newscast, right? Because they're down ballot candidates. They want to focus in on all the stuff at the national level. That is why when I started to turn left, I wanted to interview candidates who were running for township boards, school boards, county council, city council, because they're not getting the same media attention, right? That someone that's running for United States Senate or House rep or whatever. So
can I tell you that I resonate with that because I mean we're inside of a TV station right now.
Right.
This is a conversation that there is no room to have in a newscast, despite how many newscasts we do. But also one of the most watched. What I like about what I have learned and started to appreciate about podcasts is you can take that thing that normally would not be broad enough. So just like you said, no, we're not going to give. You're not going to get a bunch of airtime as your lead story about a township something race, township trustee race. It's probably not going to lead the news, especially when if it's in the year of a presidential race and a governor's race and everything else. No, that's one township and we're broadcasting to 3/4 of the state. So no, it's not going to make it. But what I like about the podcasting is you can have that conversation. And actually one of the most watched shows of this is an episode about back and forth at the Pike Township board level.
Yeah.
But I like that you can have those conversations. And to that audience of people who is watching, there you find like what narrow topics work in this arena. And
Absolutely.
I found that to be cool.
And it's wonderful because it gives the candidate an opportunity to share their stories to a broader audience. One of the things I tell each candidate that comes on, first, I also turn it into a fundraiser for them, right? So if they're talking, if you like what they're saying, you can literally donate to them from both the live and YouTube. I'm also on Spotify, iTunes, all that other stuff. But it gives an opportunity to share their vision for the office that they're running for. One thing I always tell people, if you're a good candidate, it's going to show. If you're a bad candidate, it's going to show. I lead with love. So I'm not going to ask you any gotcha questions. I'm not trying to embarrass you. I'm trying to get Democrats to support you. So it gives someone who may be running in Evansville for city council an opportunity to share their story with all of Indiana or anybody that listens to it. I also allow them to take the show if they feel like they said something fantastic and they want to rebrand it. If you have the skill set, chop it up, use it however you want. I even configure it, the screen, so that they can chop me out. I don't even have to be in it. And you can use that for whatever digital ad that you want to. So the whole point is to help these folks. I want to help Democrats get elected. Now, I know there are a lot of people who are frustrated with the party right now. I get it. And they wish that we were more forceful and they wish that we were more out there. In fact, I became a member of IDAC Indy as the vice president this year because I kept hearing, IDAC Indy is the Indiana Democratic African American Caucus. I kept hearing from Black people in Marion County that our party did not speak to them. That is a problem because if you are trying to run a statewide race in Indiana, you have to get turnout up in Indianapolis of all the counties, right? 600,000 registered voters. But 30% of Marion County is Black. So if you have a suppressed population that's not getting out and voting, and one of the reasons why they're not is because our party didn't speak to them, that's our fault. That is our fault. We need to be more intentional about speaking to folks. And how do you do that? You get out in the community, you start listening, just a podcast like this, right? Where you're going and asking Black folk, what do you need from us as a party? How can we help you as a party? So I mean, I know I'm all over the place and I have a lot of thoughts, but the whole goal is to get people more information about what is happening in our state, how it impacts them, and what they can do to change it. I did a podcast series on how Project 2025 was already being implemented in Indiana last year. So we can tell you, we broke down all, myself, Mary Noon, and Mark Gavart, they're from different parts of the state. We literally broke down different sections of Project 2025 and the policies that were already being enacted in Indiana that were like the precursor to what we're seeing the federal government do right now. The goal, again, is you don't have to be Dana to get engaged, right? You don't have to be Cameron where we're always out front. If you're tech savvy, we can always use tech savvy people on the background. If you're an artist, we can use your graphic designs to help elevate candidates. If you like to, fundraise, you can host fundraisers for people. There are so many ways. And if we allow these folks to scare us into submission, right? Scare us into submission, then they won't be able to run roughshod over us. Look, they tried, they canceling everybody. I thought they hated cancel culture,
right?
But they canceling everybody. But I will not be silenced into submission. I won't. They can come for me. I don't care. Come for it.
As you talk to people, and you got into this a little bit, as you talk to people in Marion County, and across the state, how are they feeling about the Democrat Party? Because as I said, it feels to me like I don't even know who's running the Democrat Party. I don't know if I should, but I don't.
Yeah, there's mixed emotions, right? There are a lot of people who are disappointed in us and how we've shown up, and they have every right to feel that way, right? We have to do better. Now, I will say this: the Democratic Party, when you think about the party, when you say what has the party done or what is the party doing, you have to look at it like this. You have elected officials who are the party. You have party leadership, which is a party. And if people don't know, only one person in party leadership is paid, and that is the state party chair. Everybody else who are in party leadership are volunteers. And then you have your voters. That is the party. So when you ask yourself, what is the party doing? Look in the mirror and say, what am I doing? Because you are the party too. You have every right to do what is necessary to get people engaged. So if you don't like something, volunteer. Because only one person is getting paid in the entire state. Now, yes, we have staff, but that's not considered party leadership. Party leadership are people who were voted in to be party leadership, and that's Karen Talley.
Okay.
There's only one person getting a paycheck. So no one should be denied access to participate. You don't need permission to serve your community, right? You just don't. And so if you don't like something, step up and do it. They are not wrong in that you're dealing with humans. Not every human is going to do things the right way, unfortunately. We've had some scandals at the city county building. Just garbage after garbage. And it's unfortunate because it distracts from the work that needs to be done. So yes, they have every right to be frustrated. I get frustrated, but that does not stop me from doing what I think is necessary to get people engaged. It does not stop me from trying to teach people how the process works, right? They call it political science for a reason. So it's my job, I feel like, to help navigate, right, some of those people who are frustrated and irritated and just mad at the party. Hey, there's a place for you. Come help me. There's a place for you.
Let's go to the state level.
Okay.
We had a Jennifer McCormick ran for to be the Democrat candidate to be governor. Former Republican. Once upon a time was my boss. I drove a school bus for Yorktown schools back in the day. And she was a superintendent there. But she ran, and Governor Braun, a Republican, is our governor. What did she ever stand a chance, do you think?
I think she did.
Because the indications was that this would be a closer race than most people would have thought at the beginning.
Yeah. The disappointment was that we only had like a 42% turnout in Marion County. That is the real problem. Now, I've said this a gazillion times, and I'm going to say it again. Jennifer McCormick ran a hell of a campaign. She ran such a great campaign that she got national money. National money very seldom comes to Indiana from in the form of Democratic support. It just doesn't happen, right? That's how great of a campaign she ran. but she was also a former Republican, right? And then she picked Terry Gooden, and I did an interview with both of them. Their chemistry was amazing, right? But he is also a blue dog, and he had to overcome some of his issues from the early 2010s and some of the stances. And I asked him about that, and he owned up to it. But he was a blue dog. So you have a former Republican and a blue dog Democrat running for governor and lieutenant governor. And their focus was on rural America. Ran a great campaign. But they didn't have a message for 42nd and Post. They didn't have that message. And if you do not have a message for, again, like I said, 30% of the population in the largest Democratic county in the state, and you don't do some of the things that are necessary to get that voter turnout, and I'm not blaming it all on them, right? It was a collective. It was a whole lot of things that could have been done better to get voter turnout. And I take ownership of that as well as a loudmouth Democrat. There were things that I should have done better to help people get engaged. But when you don't turn out 30% of the population in Marion County, which has we have 600,000 registered voters. Just think if we had pulled 400,000 votes just in Marion County, how many other little counties would it have taken to equal 400,000?
Right, a lot.
We had only 42% turnout. Hamilton County, over 70%. Think about that. If we turn out, we can make real changes. And honestly, we only need a few counties, bro. We only need Marion County, Allen County, Lake County, Vanderburgh County, St. Joe County to have high turnout. Obviously, we're going to get the Monroe County. You know, we could do better in Clark County. But if you turn those counties out, we can win statewide elections. We may not be able to overcome the gerrymandering, but we could definitely win statewide races. We just have to get people to the polls, get them registered and get them to the polls.
We had, obviously, and okay, let me go back, because I tell people that same thing, that all that is possible. You just got to go out and vote. And I had Whitley Yates on both here and on WTLC on the radio, and she was telling, as a conservative, she was telling progressives, Democrats, the same thing you just said, that the numbers are there. And if they weren't there, we wouldn't be doing redistricting to keep those numbers down. She was very and that resonated with a lot of people, that she as a Republican was telling people that this is why this is happening. I guess what I'm wondering, and where I say I don't know who's in charge of the party, because I'm on the talk show host, I'm the news person. I don't know who these people are. So if I don't know, how does 42nd and Post know?
Agreed.
And so, but if I got people on the conservative side like Whitley and on the progressive side like Dana saying the same thing, I guess I'm asking, why isn't it louder?
Yeah, I agree. Why isn't it louder? I cannot answer why folks don't do what is necessary. I am doing what I think needs to be done. And that's what I'm saying to people. If you feel like I feel, you don't need permission to do it. Just go out and do it. Again, working with IDAC. We have a Mila Eldridge is our Marion County Democratic Party chair. You can always reach out to the Marion County Democratic Party. There are township clubs. If you go to the state party website, it tells you where the clubs are. If you go to the Marion County Democratic Party site, it'll tell you where the clubs are, and you can just show up. And then when people show up, I need my party leaders to say, okay, you want to help? This is how you can help, right? We don't have time to parse out the type of Democrat we want. We don't have time to parse. I had a young man hit me up on social media and wanted to tell me that, we need an AOC type leading our party. We need a Bernie. No, I need all of them at this moment, because it's no longer about which Democrat. It's all Democrats, because otherwise we might not be able to get a vote next time. The way this administration is going, they are literally turning us. I mean, the similarities between now and 1930s Germany is astonishing, right? That's why they don't want you to learn history. They don't want to teach you nothing. But we have the time is now. I need every person who believes that every child should get a quality education, no matter where they live, no matter what their zip code is, and no matter how much money their parents make, they should be able to get a quality education. If you believe that healthcare is a right, if you believe that we should do something about climate change and the fact that we have 100-year storms every week, right? If you believe that being able to cast a vote is important, and here's the thing, Cameron, I recognize that there are a lot of humans in our state who literally are just trying to feed their kids.
Mhm.
They're literally just trying to keep a roof over their heads. They are literally just looking at it from day to day, and they can't be in the business of politics
Mhm.
all the time. That is why we have to go talk to them and get them. Listen, if you can't volunteer, that's fine. Can I just get you to go to the polls?
Mhm.
Can I get you to register to vote? I just need you on one day. Or actually 2 days. I need you in May
Mhm.
and I need you in November.
Mhm.
If that's all you can do.
Mhm.
But if you can do more, let's talk to people. I tell people all the time, it's not about the individual. It's not about Mike Braun. It's not about Micah Beckwith, although he's garbage.
Mhm.
It's not about them. It's about the policies they implement. Everything that you do in life has a policy attached to it. If it's a good policy, you can see who wrote it. If it's a bad policy, you can see who wrote it. And you can see why they wrote it. For example, notice how we're being inundated with data centers now in Indiana?
Yeah.
We're being inundated with data centers. It was in 2019 that they wrote a bill that passed that would give all these enormous tax breaks to all of these big companies who don't need it
Mhm.
to build their resource-sucking data centers in Indiana.
Mhm.
2019. Now you can just follow the money. Why did he do it? Those policies are the reason why these anonymous data center owners they opened up they're building one in Michigan City right now. That's literally
Really?
sucking. Oh yeah, it's
That's my
sucking,
hometown.
sucking resources. The city county council last night voted one down. That's
Mhm.
fine, but there are more than 20 that are slated to go up. Why? Who's benefiting from it? And why do they insist on turning Indiana into a trash can? Why do they not care? Literally, they're gutting how we educate people. So the 50 jobs that these data centers are going to provide, 50
Mhm.
max.
Not a whole lot.
They're not going to be Hoosiers because we're not going to be qualified because we're draining IU and all the other public universities of their programs to create well-rounded humans. But that's what's happening. Policies are being written that allow these big companies. Even the gallon of milk you buy has a policy attached to it.
Mhm.
I'm not saying, this individual is evil or that individual is bad, but these policies. And that's how we have to talk to people. We have to draw the line between, okay, why is it easier for a person to get a firearm than it is to get a barber license
Mhm.
or a beautician's license? Why? Who is writing these policies? We want to talk about gun violence? In Indiana, you don't even need a permit, but you got to get a permit to drive a car.
Mhm.
A firearm which could kill and maim and accidentally harm children or intentionally harm children.
Mhm.
You can get by just walking in a store. But if you want to get a beautician's license or a barber license, you have to jump through hoops.
Mhm.
Why? Look at those policies. How are they impacting you? The child care, they literally, the FSSA just sent out a notice to all child care providers to tell them that they're getting a cut, 15 to 30% cut in the amount of money they will receive per child that they support. Right? They sent that letter out. Why? Because the Republicans who swear they're fiscal hawks mismanaged funds. And what's so funny in the letter, this administration attacked the previous administration. Oh, it was like they were Democrats. It was all Republicans. They can't count, right? And when we're sitting on a surplus, well, why don't you just take some of that surplus money to make up the shortfall? No, you want a AAA rating.
Well, now we don't have a surplus because the funding on the national side has caused us to put us in the hole.
Right. But now we want to, we want to hold the providers responsible for paying a living wage,
Correct.
right? As they should.
Mhm.
But then the amount of money that they're getting in per child is going down. That make sense.
Mhm.
It's not going to square.
Mhm.
And the fact that Indiana has one of the highest child care costs in the nation. Wow.
Mhm.
So again, all about the policies. Democrats believe that childcare should be affordable. We should have universal pre-K so that you can send your kid to school. And we want to make sure that you have the ability to feed them by giving you a living wage, right? We want you to have universal pre-K. We want you to be able to afford childcare. We also want you to work if you can work. If you want to work, we want to make it possible for you to work.
Mhm.
The party of family values are making it harder for you to take care of your family. And this is real talk.
That on top of all of the things, so I've had lots of nonprofits that have come sat in the seat that you're sitting in now, and all the things that they are trying to do to help families get by, they're losing funding as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I think nonprofit work is great. Philanthropic work is fantastic. But our government is of the people, by the people, for the people.
It's supposed to be.
So our government is supposed to be providing certain things. There shouldn't be, I mean, I know that there is, but there shouldn't be a place where homeless teens have to. Why are teens homeless?
Mhm.
Why are people who can't even vote on policies homeless? Bro, that don't even make sense.
Mhm.
Right? Why is that a thing? Why are they getting rid of any talk of LGBTQ plus folks at 988, the suicide hotline, when we know the LGBTQ plus community are disproportionately represented in the suicide rates? Why would you take that away? Like all of these things. Show me a policy where Republicans are really caring about people. They care about profits. They care about profits. They care about stacking chips. We care about people. We may not always get it right. And I know people are frustrated with Chuck Schumer because, they want him to be more 10 toes down. They're frustrated with Hakeem Jeffries. I get that. I'm not telling you are wrong for feeling that way. But you have the ability, like they say, all politics is local. You have the ability to influence what's happening in your streets. You have the ability.
As you name off Chuck Schumer on one generation and Hakeem Jeffries on another generation, and then you mentioned, people saying we need an AOC, we need a Bernie. Is the, because Chuck Schumer got a lot of heat earlier this year when he didn't shut down the government. Now we have another government shutdown impending. What do you think, at least on the national level, what's the right tactic? Because I had Samantha Douglas and Whitley Yates here. We were talking about this, and as you said, people are resonating with a Gavin Newsom who is fighting Trump with Trumpism. That's one way to go. I don't know. Is there one way to go, or is it all the above?
I think it's all the above because one tactic is not going to work for everybody. So, for example, Mayor Pete, former Secretary Pete, he likes to go and have philosophical conversations with the right. I ain't got the patience for that. Like he has the patience to sit and explain to people, and he doesn't even say they're dumb or stupid. He just explains it. I ain't got that kind of patience. I don't. So that's one tactic. Governor Pritzker is doing something else. He's actually using his big dollars. Because that's a wealthy man. He's using his big dollar influence, right? When Trump said, "I'm coming to Chicago," bro, don't bring that noise in here. Oh, well, I think I'm going to go to Memphis instead. Yeah, because he's bringing his big boy dollars with that. I think what Representative Jasmine Crockett is doing, she is like calling them out, making them look stupid to their face. Everything is important. I think whatever style we bring, we need to obviously focus on democracy, right? I recognize that there are people in our society, no matter what, they're going to rock with the orange guy. They're going to. And there's multiple reasons for that. Again, racism plays a role, misogyny plays a role, homophobia, transphobia play a role in all of that, right? Fear of immigrants plays a role, playing on people's fears of the great white Stop. Ain't nobody being replaced. Stop it. right? Nobody's being replaced. And the fact that you guys control everything and you still mad? Why you still mad? So all of the above.
Mm-hmm.
I need someone like a Pete who can go in and calmly be cool and be, the Rhodes Scholar that he is, and talk to folks so that they feel warm and fuzzy inside about being dumb. And then I need my Jasmine Crockett's that are like, bro, whatever. But what I don't need are soft, wealthy white males who control media, who control the levers of power to was it capitulate? Capitulate to what is happening, right? It's really frustrating to see these people who supposedly have all this power in our nation, like just okay, whatever you say, like succumbing to lawsuits that they know that they would win. Law firms knowing that they could win the lawsuit, going, okay, we just gonna pay. Or and look who's doing it. Now, when it came time to come for the man, look who was coming for him. It was all black people. It was Letitia James. It was the attorney, the prosecutor down in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. We see the crazy. But I need my white brothers and sisters to rock with us. I need them to be as 10 toes down as we are about this thing, because y'all have the power and you can go places that I can't.
So you mentioned, out of the names you mentioned, you need a Mayor Pete on one side, a Representative Crockett on the other side. Kamala Harris is rolling out her book right now.
Yep, I pre-ordered it.
Okay. It comes out today or tomorrow?
Yeah, it came out this morning.
Okay. What did you think of the task? What did you think of her and the task that she had?
Wow. I thought she did an amazing job in 107 days. You have to remember, she didn't get a chance to build her team. She inherited a Biden team. She inherited a team that was focused on getting an 80-something-year-old white guy elected versus Indian, African-American, AKA elected, which would have been two totally different tactics, right? I thought she did the best she could. Everybody makes mistakes, and she obviously made some mistakes in the course of that campaign. Nobody's saying that she ran it perfectly, but I thought she did an amazing job at engage. And it was the excitement at the possibility too. Like, I remember I was at the DNC. I remember when she came out on the first night and the place erupted because people were excited at the opportunity, the possibility to have the first woman, the first person, or the first woman and the first woman of color to lead our country, because she could see all of America.
And I think what we also forget is she did accomplish something. She is the first woman of color vice president.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
I think we forget that.
We forget that. So I think she's incredibly intelligent. I love her prosecutorial style of when she was in the Senate. So I think like I said, she made some mistakes, but everyone does.
Well, in the previews of her book that are coming out, the first things that I am hearing and are the things that I have suspected this entire time is she wasn't allowed to be the candidate that she wanted to be for a number of reasons, some of which you already alluded to, that it wasn't the right team who, they think, hey, I've been doing this. Yes, you have. Okay, but you're in charge. I'm gonna go with what you say. Although I think we should do it this way. We already can see some of that. One of the things was, and then the other part was the timeline that she had to sell herself. And then the timeline that she would have had to sell her vice president. She says that Mayor Pete is her number one pick to be her vice president if she was a white guy.
Yeah.
And that's because if we just keep it 100, she had to sell the country that a black woman, a woman of color could be vice president, could be president as it stood. She already had that task. And even if you take color aside, there's a whole lot of people, women included, who do not believe that a woman should be president or be in charge.
Now, think about that, what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
The person that taught you how to eat, the person that told you how to tie your shoes, the person that gave you life is not capable of leading. Think about that. Think about the mindset that the person that literally gave me life is not capable of leading. All right, go ahead.
So, in addition to that, then she says, okay, as much as I want Mayor Pete, now I've got to convince America to put in a black woman and a gay man.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do that in 107 days.
Yeah. And see, you know what? That's the reality. I love when people live in reality. We would love to think that, oh my God, everybody is welcome. Oh, in America, everybody has equal opportunity. We would love to live in that world, but that ain't the truth. I like that she lived in reality. Reality was, okay, if I'm running as a black woman, I need to go get me a straight white dude who's a hunter, who likes guns to balance this ticket out, because she understood that there are Americans in this country that would never go for that. Even some on her own side. It's a reality. It's an obstacle. It's something you have to navigate. And I appreciate her honesty. Now, I'll be honest, I was hoping she would pick Gretchen Whitmer.
Yeah, I could see that.
But you can't have two women on the ballot.
Right. If people are already skeptical about one woman,
there's no way it was going to work. And so if we live in this Pollyanna world that everything is going to come up roses, then we're going to always lose. We have to think and be in reality. Like, it wouldn't have happened. It's like political violence. The events over the last couple of weeks with the podcaster who tragically lost his life. And it was shameful that it happened, that his life was snuffed out like that. But that is America. Like, literally, the founding of this nation was built on political violence. You cannot. So when people act like that incident is, oh my God, political violence, oh my Lord, what are we gonna do? Child, you're gonna do the same thing that Fannie Lou Hamer did. You're going to get up and keep it moving. You're going to do the same thing that Coretta Scott King did. She got up and kept moving. Betty Shabazz. Because political violence has been in America from the very beginning. The Boston Tea Party that we love to celebrate was political violence. Right? They literally harassed and arrested the suffragettes because they wanted to pass the 19th Amendment to be able to vote. That's political violence. There are bodies still in the Tallahatchie River in Mississippi because they wanted to register to vote. That's political violence. So, yes, what happened to that man? I feel for his family. Oh my God, it's horrendous. But stop acting like this is new. Stop acting like you didn't know this was a possibility. I literally live my life recognizing that somebody might not like something I say and they could come for me. I live in reality. And that's what Kamala Harris did. She lives in reality. She understood it can't be a black lady and a gay guy. It's not going to work in America because she lives in reality.
I wish that, because I could see it before, and I don't know if maybe, one, she couldn't always explain everything, but also when she does explain things, it may go over people's heads. But I usually would pick up on what she was trying to say. But I think that one, it should be an interesting book.
Can't wait.
But we're also seeing, where I was saying is I think that there were far more obstacles out there than we even know about.
Oh God, yes.
That she was dealing with behind the scenes, and I can't. I've never interviewed Kamala Harris, so I can't tell you that she's more liberal or more conservative than what you saw. But I think that there was a whole lot that had to be watered down to fit with the staff that she had and the timeline that she had and what she was up against. I don't know. I'm going to say, I think if she had time from the beginning, you'd have saw a totally different campaign.
Yes, but there's also that train of thought that if Biden had said that he wasn't going to run, we would have had a primary.
Mm-hmm.
And would she have come out of the primary?
Mm-hmm.
So there's that school of thought.
Mm-hmm.
There's also, I mean, you know, when Nancy Pelosi ain't really, I mean, she got on board,
Mm-hmm.
but Nancy Pelosi wasn't like 10 toes down at the beginning. She wasn't, she got on board. She did what she needed to do. You have the donor class, right, that wasn't necessarily on board. So there were a lot of problems. The first thing was, honestly, Biden, at first we thought, oh, he did a great thing by stepping down, but he said he wasn't going to run. And so that would have opened it up, right, for a primary. And that would have created, the primary race actually builds excitement, right? It builds, gives you a chance to share who you are with the people. So you also have, I'm certain there were a lot of things that behind the scenes that didn't come out, how the team performed, I'm not going to be crazy enough to believe that there are probably some folks on the inside of the party that were like, I'm not foolish enough to believe that every Democrat was on board. I'm not.
Right.
And they stayed home. Right.
Well, and it sounds like even some of the people who we were hearing were on the short list to be vice president for her weren't as excited as you might think.
Yeah. I mean, even what's his name? The Pennsylvania governor?
Josh Shapiro.
Josh Shapiro. I almost called him Ben Shapiro. I know that guy. Josh Shapiro. There was some suggestions that she didn't pick him because she was Jewish. That may be true. We know we have, unfortunately, a block of Americans who are anti-Semitic. There are people in America who believe that only white, straight, Christian men should run our country. They're just, I mean, look at this Trump administration, right? They would rather have an ill-prepared TV host be the Secretary of Defense than a decorated Black general, right? Literally, they fired women and Black people who were decades into their careers who understand defense, but they put the TV guy on, right? So there are Americans out there that live in that world. I wish it weren't like that. And I wish I could say America, I mean, we're better. Because look at us. We're on this podcast in Indiana. You, young Black guy, talking to the loudmouth gay Black chick, right? And we're talking politics in a space that, hey, we wouldn't have been able to do years ago. So yes, we are making progress, and we are allowed to participate. But if we don't participate, it will be taken from us. Right. So I don't want everybody to think I hate America, because people hear stuff and they think, oh, Dana hates America. No, Dana, I am so committed to America. I believe in everything, because when I said I went to North Central High School, they told me I could be anything I wanted to be in America, and there weren't any caveats. There weren't any caveats that said, well, if you're a woman, you can't. Well, if you're Black, you can't. I never got any of that. So I believe in that, and I want that for everyone. But I also recognize that there are people in our nation that don't want us to have that. And that's why we should be even more forceful, right, and say, no, we're not finna go nowhere. We should be like Fred Hampton before they gunned him down, and be trying to bring a coalition of people together, right? When poor whites and Latinos and Black folks got together in Chicago, we like, yo, they had to shut that down, though. But I need my white brothers and sisters who believe in making sure that everyone has access to come step with us too, right? I need white women who believe in body autonomy to come. We ain't got time for separating. We ain't got time for that. But I am going to highlight, some things are better for my white folks than they are for my Black folks. Let's quit tripping.
We're out of time.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. So that just means you have to come back.
I'll be more than happy to. And I can bring you on my show.
Yes. And I am glad to hear, because I don't know. When I was thinking of you, because I told you I had Whitley on, I was trying to think of who is who on the Democrat side can I talk to? And I don't feel like there's a lot of yous out there.
There are. They're not as loud. And I mean, literally, I highlight like Gary Snyder with the Snide Report. He's out of Fort Wayne. Miguel Hampton does. He has common conversations. He's out of Jeffersonville. Mark Gavart does My Labor Radio.
Okay.
There's Mayor McDermott does. What's this called? Left of Center. He has a podcast. And there's enough sun for all of us to shine. So there are voices out there that are doing the same thing that I'm doing. I recognize, and this is where, when you know who you are, you know who you are. I know I'm the greatest hype woman in this entire state. I know what I bring to the table, right? And so when you have that attention, you highlight other people like Mary Noon, who is, she has a consulting firm, and she breaks down data that can really empower people, right? So there are a lot more of me's out there. They do it differently. Gary Snyder, he has a whole network on the Snide Report. He has a newsletter. He's been interviewing folks left and right. He's been having folks on his show. I really love the work that he's doing. In fact, he has my podcast is on his radio station as well. So we uplift each other. We highlight each other. There's lots of us out here. We're around the state. In fact, a couple years ago, we did a live broadcast election night. So I had, all these different people. We had all these different people from all over the state doing our local coverage on a podcast stream. So there's lots of us out here.
Well, there is your show. Apparently, I'm losing my voice. Excuse me.
That's all right. Yes, come see me. Come see me. Come check me out. Y'all follow me, like me. The goal is to highlight candidates in Indiana. We want to talk to everybody from Blue Dogs to Democratic Socialists. I've had all of those on the show. I try to get as many candidates on as I possibly can. I want you to find out about these candidates in your community. I want you to support them, volunteer for them, and let them know what you need from them, right? That's the goal of the show, is to really highlight. I talk about issues that are happening in the State House. I do a rant at the beginning of the show where I, talk about policies that are happening and things that are happening, and I rant about it. That's
a monologue.
Yeah, I do that. But again, it's about informing and becoming an educated voter base. So yeah, there's lots of us out here, bro.
Well, you are a true professional.
Thank you.
In the hosting space, because what everybody didn't see is she kept talking. I got up and tried to get some water over here in the corner. There's a water bottle over here. I don't know who it belongs to, but that's how bad that one got. It wasn't open though. Dana, thank you.
Thank you for having me, sir.
I'm glad you were able to come. I guess I should stop talking now. That's going to do it for this edition of Fox 59 tonight. If I have a voice by this weekend, I'll talk to you on the radio on WTLC and Hot 100.9. That's going to do it for this edition of Fox 59 tonight. Good night.